there, everybody. Welcome back. I'm the Gerbil, and it's been a minute since my last viewer question. This is question number 15. I really think you're going to enjoy this one. There are several lulls in here due to some really great questions and hopefully some great content also. Yeah, let's just get started. This, I think, is going to be a very, very good one. All right. Oh, if you want to ask a question in a future video, how do you do that? Go to my Discord. Go to Ask Gerbil. I am not a super active Discorder, but if you @ me in the Ask Gerbil channel, I will eventually get around to answering you, sometimes immediately, but rarely, generally in one of these videos. Now that life is getting back under control, I'm feeling a lot better. I had been sick for a long time. I just got back from vacation. I'm hoping to get back to a cadence of doing this video twice a month. All right, here we go. Let's get started. So first question, this is one of the lulls. Hey Gerbil, if you were to die in a vat of Jello, what flavor would it be? Well, I shouldn't laugh at this. This is a serious topic. I mean, this has actually happened. And SWGOH, you should, be ashamed of yourself for asking. No, I'm kidding. My first thought was it would have to be coffee. I am a coffee addict, but then I started diving deeper into Jellos and discovered that, lo and behold, they made a sparkling wine jelly. And I figured if you're gonna go, at least enjoy it. Maybe the alcohol will, I don't know where I'm going. But ultimately, I settled on Mr. Wiggle line. If you're gonna go with a smile, right? That's what the Joker said. So it'd be one of these three. Yeah, serious question. All right, here we go. Mo Eliza, how good is Admiral Raddus in Rise of the Empire territory battle? The reality is, in my humble opinion, not that good. Not that good relative to alternatives. Yes, you can full clear, I think, both the light side and the neutral phase 1, maybe phase 2s. In fact, you may be able to go, I don't know, you may be able to go, if you have the gear level, jumping back and forth between light side and neutral, you might be able to go all the way through phase 4. But I honestly haven't tried it in a long time. I've done it a few times. It was tedious and not worth the effort, primarily because Cassian's Omicron, if you're going to go that route, is not very good. In Rise of the Empire, he becomes a magma trooper, which doesn't, in my opinion, do a lot for the Raddus team. Whereas in the Geonosian territory battle, he became Wat Tambor, and he was really, really effective there because of all the debuffs he was applying, the cleansing on your allies, the tank techs, the weapon tech that you could pass around, which allowed the passive healing on K2 and other people. And he assisted with his basic as Wat, which was a lot more effective than the Magna Troopers was, in my opinion. So I don't recommend this avenue. I think that for Rise of the TB, you're far better off with like CLS and neutral, maybe your Jedis in the light side, especially where Jedi are required. So no, not that good. But that's my opinion. Some people are going to disagree with me all the way on that one. Hey, pursue Inquisitors or Bad Batch? Now this is a real serious question because these are the two teams, the two squads of 5. Yes, there are 7 Inquisitors, but you're only running 5 in a squad, that require the most Kairos than anything. To get the Grand Inquisitor, I believe you need 2,500 Kairos, and then you have to unlock Reva, of course, in Rise of the Empire. To pursue Bad Batch, if you're going to go the full squad of 5, you need 2,000 Kairotechs. Each Bad Batch member needs 400. They are Kairo heavy. In my opinion, though, absolutely, this is a hands-down, no-brainer. Inquisitors. Why Inquisitors? Pursue them. Well, as I've listed here, you can see they are great on offense and defense. And contrary to what some more popular YouTubers will say, Grand Inquisitor is not a bad lead. I did a whole series of videos with Grand Inquisitor-led Inquisitors when they came out, and I was smacking down all kinds of meta teams right and left. Now, if you are Kyber 1, Kyber 2, GI is not going to cut it in most instances, but you never know what you're going to come across, and I guarantee you will have an opportunity to use them. That being said, Bad Batch is also a fantastic offense team. On defense, I think it's a lot easier to take down. Reva, basically, you have to have a well-modded, geared Sith Trumpet or a GL to take her down. Inquisitors, of course, are Conquest dominant. You put the like zealous ambition, volatile accelerator on them, and it's just like you open, the enemies are already at 1 bar of health because all the stacks of purge apply, or amplify agony, that's it. Those trigger, and GI does his whirlwind, whatever, and you win. It is literally a 6-second victory. Also, of course, there's tons and tons of Inquisitor feats that just don't stop running. And then, of course, Inquisitors have an assault battle, which in time, and this is a long-term game, you will recoup a lot of that gear. Even if not, it's a monthly steady income for your other activities. There you go. That's it. That's my recommendation. Okay, hey, how is Whisk such a TV wizard? Well, you know, I had to do a lot of research on Whisk because I wasn't familiar with Whisk. Besides, you know, having 6 Zetas, Whisk is pretty darn powerful. So I went over to ChatGPT and I asked, and it said this. It said, in a galaxy kitchen far, far away, Whisk the Jedi led the culinary fray. With sabers made of spatulas he'd fight, in territory battles he'd take flight. His whisking prowess unmatched by all, in the kitchen or on the battlefield brawl. Stormtroopers tremble, pots and pans clang, Whisk whisks up, victory with a bang. With force so strong in a galaxy's plate, with Whisk reigns supreme, sealing the Emperor's fate. Sorry, typos. In SWGOH's saga, his legendaries told, for Whisk's cooking secrets the galaxy behold. Hey, Gerbil, can I do a Spanish-themed Gerbil for my next thumbnail? Yep, here you go. For those of you who don't know, I just came back from Spain. It was amazing. It was truly amazing. Those of you who are fortunate enough to live in such a beautiful place, don't take it for granted. Chronocast says, have fun in Spain. Do share any fun-worthy stuff to check out. Hit me on Discord for that, honestly. There is so much amazing stuff. I was in Barcelona for a week, and anything from Gaudi, whether it was Casa Mila, I think it was, or Park Wheel, all the way to, Castile and Montjuic. I think I'm saying that right, Montjuic. My Spanish pronunciation is horrible. I don't speak Spanish. Or Sagrada Familia, the cathedral was absolutely mind-blowing. Of course, my good friend Spider-Man traveled with me, and my little Leo, and we enjoyed. We walked everywhere. We toured everything. We got pictures with all the street art, and Barcelona is a mecca for street art. It's not just graffiti, come to find out. Did some diving in it. When I got there, I was like, why is there so much graffiti everywhere? And I was really kind of bummed. And then I started inquiring, and I discovered that actually it is not just reviled by some, but actually encouraged and promoted in some parts of the city. And until 2006, they didn't even have laws against tagging and graffiti. Street art, it is a mecca for street art. So it's interesting. There's a whole culture and history behind it. Yeah, anyway. So yeah, here's just some random photos. I'll post it a bunch over in Discord too. But anyway, I loved it. Thank you. From Fixie Delta, I think we'll get R2KT because he's coming to Lego. I don't know. I actually don't know that droid at all, but I was recently in a Disney store and came across C1MST4, which I think stands for Monster, MNST4, and I was like, it's a hybrid, as if the Hulk had like bred with R2-D2 or Chopper. Turns out, though, it's not actually the Hulk, and I don't remember. There's a backstory. I Googled it. But yeah, this is a legit Star Wars action figure exclusive to Disney retail. And I saw this and was like, wow, is this weird? It's a Frankenbot. Yeah, bizarre. I don't know. I don't know if we'll get R2KT. I'll have to check it out. Good question. This is a really interesting question. So the question is, like, what game mode would I like to see? Obviously, I would like to see an inter-guild GAC opportunity. Like, you know, maybe on the down weeks, have an inter-guild tournament where you can challenge your teammates and, you know, whatever, get some bragging rights, maybe even not for gear, maybe just minimal gear, maybe for trophies. I don't care. I think it'd be fun. But what I wanted forever is something like this. So this map is actually from a Star Trek game, I think. It's Star Trek, I can tell that. But here's the way it works. It's a revised territory battle, and this would be so much fun. It is not 1v1 guild, it is multiple guilds versus each other. And it is a multiple day event. So maybe instead of having 4 territory battles, or territory wars, we only have 2, and they last for a week or something. So it works like this. Your guilds are conquering planets, multiple planets across the galaxy. Think Rise of the Empire. You attach a squad to a ship on day 1. So you say, here's my fleet, here's my negotiator fleet, and I'm going to put my Jedi Knight Revan on it, okay? And then when the combat starts on the second day, you have to attack an enemy planet, first defeating its space defenses. So my fleet goes against their fleet. If I win, I can then deploy my troops squad to the ground and then engage a squad on the ground. If my fleet loses, that squad is lost. And then suppose you defeat the fleet and then you defeat the ground squad. Whatever you have left becomes new defenses for the next round, where another guild can attack it, or the original owning guild can counter-offense and try to retake that planet. After, say, 3 or 4 waves, one, back and forth, maybe 3 or 4 days, each day is one wave, the guild with the most conquered or held territory wins. That would be a lot of fun, and honestly, very easy and thematic, and it just makes sense. It would be a lot of fun. It would be so much fun. Anyway, that's my opinion. That's what I want to see. Hey, a player named Gus asks me a question that actually is quite interesting, and I think it's already been answered in Discord, but they're confused about how Hypnotize on Logray, it says, dispel all buffs and remove 100% turn meter from the enemy, inflict daze on all enemies. It can't be evaded. So why do you need potency? Well, it works like this. Potency is a tenacity check. Evade is a dodge check. And while you may be saying, hey, but he doesn't do any damage with this, Capital Games and SWGOH defines an attack as anything that a character does that applies a debuff or inflicts damage. Since you are applying a debuff, it is counted as an attack. Therefore, the attack first must not be dodged. If an enemy evades it, i.e., your accuracy versus their dodge, if they dodge it, then these turn meter removals and the dazes may not apply. I don't think I've ever consciously observed that, though. Also note that Logray has, I think, embedded accuracy into his mastery. So at relic levels, he's already got 20 to 30% accuracy, so pretty much nobody dodges him. It's the potency thing, though, that you have to have superior potency than the enemy tenacity for the daze and I believe even the dispel and turn meter removal to land. I don't recall. I know I have dispelled and dazed and not landed turn meter removal on some targets, and there's, it's a whole complicated mess as to why, but that's the short answer. You have an attack, does it land, yes or no? Then does the debuff apply, the negative effect? Potency versus tenacity. There you go. Back to Pixie Delta. So the question, and this is a really interesting question about is farming Marauder worth it for get 2 tokens and light side geos? And the answer to that is I have no earthly idea, because I haven't played light side geo since Rise of the Empire came out, and I didn't play geos a lot to begin with. Kind of skipped that whole territory battle largely. I mean, I played it years ago, but I can't remember much about it. What I will say, though, is I believe the question you were asking is, do you go for Marauder Bad Batch, or you had an alternative there? Unfortunately, I buried it with my graphics. So sorry, Fixie. I can't see that for sure. My thinking, though, when I formatted this was you need to weigh whether or not you can afford the Cairo investment. Oh no, it was how much gear level do you need on them? Wow, I'm smart. I don't believe you need a lot of gear. I think I haven't tested this in depth, but my Bad Batch are gear 12. I have not applied, I think, any of the gear 12 finishing pieces, and I am super pleased with the performance of my Marauder. I use it in territory. Yeah, I use it in Territory Wars. I use it in GAC. I am happy with the win and hold rates that I received with it, which is not high, but I am happy with it. Fleets in general just don't hold. It doesn't matter what you put down, they don't hold. But yeah, I'm happy with it. Now, on offense, Negotiator with Marauder, there is a lineup here where against a triple attacker, you can win 92% of the time against the Executor. Now, that's going to depend on your gear and their gear and blah, 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 and familiarity with the team and who to attack and when and where, what, blah, blah, blah. But I would say take it to gear 12, hands down. Don't apply the finishing pieces unless you find you need it, because at 400 Chirotechs per Bad Batch member, it's expensive. I mean, you're going to need 300 Chirotechs per Bad Batch just to get the Marauder up to gear 12 pilots. I mean, that's 900 Chirotechs. So it is a very, very steep investment, but yeah, I think it's worth it. I think in the long run, it will be worth it. But eventually, bear in mind, your guild is going to move on to Rise of the Empire, and it's not going to matter as much. I will tell you, in Phase 4, I think Lothal, the planet Lothar, Phase 4 or 5, my guild is beating that fleet battle with Negotiator, and I'm doing that every time for nearly 1,000,000 points with my gear 12 Bad Batch. So I know it's sufficient for most of what I'm doing. Hey, fleets or GL? Which one's better to farm? Fleet. Fleets over GLs. Because fleets are your daily crystal payout. You want that top 5, top 10, ideally number 1 daily fleet payout, which is achievable for most players who are focused and determined. It absolutely is. You want that 400 daily crystal income. That is going to be vastly superior than the daily crystal payout you will get from anything you're going to do with a GL. Other than, I mean, I guess it comes down a little bit to your fleet shard. You know, if you're able to get there without Executor or what is it? I think you're talking about Executor versus Slicker. Yes. Then maybe pursue Slicker. But if you're struggling in fleet, go fleet. Also, you're going to find that a lot of, if you haven't already, a lot of GAC battles, especially at the sub-Kyber level, your win and losses will often come down to the superior fleets, especially in the lower Chromium Bronziums. If you got an Executor Profundity on D and they don't have, you know, a dominant capital ship or a well-established fleet, you will hold. Or you can sit back with the comfort of knowing you can beat anything they put on their fleet for a decent to high to max banner win. So yeah, fleets over GLs. Also keep in mind there are only really 3 dominant capital fleets, so one of them and you're a third of the way there to air superiority. But there are 8 GLs, right? What's one more GL after a while? It's not that significant. And there are many non-GL counters to GLs like Finnick and Lord Vader, etc. So yeah, there you go. So controversial moment. I posted a video the other day and I took it down after only about 3 hours. It was about Darth Bane and my views on Darth Bane. I got a lot of people hating on me because I didn't observe that Link disappeared from Bane in this particular battle, and they were like, why are you such an idiot, blah blah blah. And I was like, dude, why are you being so rude and harsh? I honestly had no idea that Bane was losing Link, and that's how he survived the ultimate, because here in a second you're going to see him get linked and then he keeps losing the link, and I've since discovered why, but I was not paying attention to that when I hit auto. Right, you know what I mean? Actually, it's not on auto right now. Most of these battles were on auto. I hit auto for a bunch of these just to see how he did, and I just didn't pay attention. Sue me. But what do I think about Bane? Bane is a no-brainer. In GAC, Bane plus Sith Assassin or any other B Sith that you don't care about can beat Lord Vader, can beat Leia, can beat a bunch of GLs, and I do expect a nerf, but not yet. I'm going to let more people apply the omicrons and then nerf him, probably. That's my cynicism, right? It's a no-brainer. It's a 2-person squad. He needs 500 Chirotechs, which is rough. But because he goes in and smacks down most GLs, even on automatic, it frees up your GLs to be placed on defense or to be used against other targets where you can get high banners. So, like, wondering, like, if you should go for JCal or C. Go for C? And you don't even need Bane with C. Like, look, I'm beating C with Bane, and his C has Bane. So I don't know. I would go for C anyway over JCal, really, because JCal like lifts other teams. C is a standalone team. You take C and Sith Empire Trooper, and you can beat most other teams, including some GLs. You take Bane and whatever other. I mean, you get two teams for one here. See, that's what it is. You get two teams for one. JCal is amazing, but he basically lifts one team. And that, again, is my humble opinion. Some of you may disagree, and it's fine. Let's disagree peacefully, and let's talk about it in the Discord or the comments. K7R3, just about to finish requirements for Profundity. Awesome, congratulations. You're wondering what Raddus is useful against. AdRad the squad, not the ship. Fortunate for you, about a year ago, I did a bunch of AdRad testing, so it is a little dated, but I did a bunch of testing. Check out some of these vids. Top left one, final thoughts on Raddus. I think I have a matrix in there, a chart that I show a lot of like battles and outcomes and stuff. Then I went in and did some detailed modding advice on the squad. I guarantee 90% of you watching this are still modding K2 completely wrong under AdRad. Most people have him modded based on what SWGOH stated, and SWGOH.gg has him legacy modded for when Jin was the Rogue One leader, and most people have never gone back to remod, so the crowdsource advice is self-sustaining. It's not accurate though in this case, but pretty much anything Empire they have a very, very good chance of destroying, including not Empire, but including Grievous, and surprisingly you can beat a bunch of like some Jedi and Sith and other stuff. But Darth Revan, I don't remember, and watch the video, but it is a powerhouse of a team then, and it remains one now, both on offense and defense, GAC and territory wars. Christian asks, I had a thought while gearing up 501st. You're thinking about not putting the Omicron on the ability for fives that enables him to taunt for 2 turns. There is definitely logic and wisdom in doing that. Most people won't think about it, but you actually don't want fives taunting. In many cases, you often want one of your allies to die so that he sacrifices to feed power, to the rest of your 501st squad. So by having him taunt, you don't get that sacrifice happen. You were asking, though, if I would do a video on this. I'm probably not going to, because that's a really, really in-depth question that while I think of myself as being good at the game, I'm good in the things that I like in the game. I do not know a lot about a lot of the different factions and characters. So I would like hit up like Nooch or Calvin or Arnold, like these 3 videos here, because these guys, they really know a lot more about like which ones to kind of avoid and whatnot. I mean, if you got a question about like Ewok, Jawa, Rebels, then pretty much those 3 factions for sure I'd be happy to help you on. But you're right, there are definitely some Zetas and some Omegas and definitely some Krons that you do not need in this game. So yeah, don't just apply them, everyone. Apply them cautiously. A long video. If 2 + 2 = 3, what does 2 + 2 equal? 17. I've done the math on that, I promise. But only for very large values of 2. Also, what are my thoughts on Conquest Omicrons? Yuck. I really hope we don't get any more of those. What I really do want, though, are some Galactic Challenge Omicrons. I hope we can get some of those. Sorry, almost died there. What would be your thoughts or suggestions on introducing low-level content to get more new players in the game, like sub 85 up to level 85? I think that's like brilliant. And not going to happen. It's not going to happen because CG wants you to spend money to get up there, aka Hyperdrive bundle, and because it's a very, very limited time that people can use it for the first 3 to 6 months, and then it would just kind of phase out. So it's not going to provide long-term benefit for the game, which is not something CG's interested in, but it would be super player friendly and wonderful to see. I approve. Hey, does GL Leia need to have relics to do the final phase of her event? I think no. I think you can do that at gear 12 and maybe 11 and 12, but I honestly would not, unless you find somebody else saying, yeah, here's evidence and proof that it works every time. The thing is, the first phase of this event, as you've probably figured out by now because you posted this 2 weeks ago, sorry, is that in round 1, it's Leia and Wicket versus a trooper, and I'm worried that if you have low enough gear, that trooper may kill you. The second phase, you can stun down the AT-ST without any issue. Nisa can stun it, Han can stun it, Chewbacca can stun it. You can keep it stunned for the duration of the battle. It will never take a turn if you play right. But it's the phase 1 I'm worried about, round 1. With that said, though, if you mod, I mean, you have to have a Relic 3 Wicket, which, yeah, again, he's not going to hit super hard. Mine is like Relic 9, so if I can't go back and test it. There's no way I can go back and test it on both my accounts. Even my alt, I have one GL, it's Leia, she's Relic 8. But I would not gamble if tickets are a concern. I would get at least to gear 12 before I would try it, or go watch some vids. Sorry. Hey, when will Queen Amidala be available for purchase in Conquest currency? I assumed she already was, but if she's, I mean, maybe she's not, obviously, or else she probably wouldn't be asking. If she's not available last round, then she's probably not going to be available in Conquest 14 at all. So if she's available for Conquest currency purchase, as they usually are, then I would suspect it'll be Conquest 15, which I think starts in June, and that will probably coincide with the new raid, right? So Conquest 14 was March, April, May. 15 will be June, July, August, unless I'm misunderstanding something there. So it may be a while. If Ewoks were not in the game, who would my niche faction be? I would not have played to this game if the Ewoks were not there. Yeah, that's like, when I downloaded the game, it's because I love Star Wars. When I saw the Ewoks, that's why I kept playing, because I enjoyed doing things with them that I should not have been able to. There really is not another niche faction that I would get as much satisfaction out of. The Jawas are a lot of fun to play, but it doesn't matter how you mod Jawas, you're not going to beat crazy teams that Ewoks can pull off. They're not going to beat a GL like Ewoks can under the right conditions, especially back when we had the Nisacron. That was just so much fun. Tuskens, likewise, they are amazing already in the right conditions. They're just not, they're not versatile. Ewoks, depending how you mod them, depending how you play them, depending which Ewok you use, they are incredibly versatile for different plug-and-play situations, especially like Ewok Elder, using him in a team with a GL. He can revive the GL. There are no other factions in this game that are like that, not in my opinion. Otherwise, I mean, if I had to pick a faction, I think it would most likely be... So John Galt says, how important is the Korriban's Legacy Omicron on Malgus? I don't know. This is one of those, like, previously stated, you know, situations where I don't know my Sith well. So I'm going to, in real time here, try to pull this up and take a quick reference. But what I will say, the second half of your question is Malgus, like, you've seen a lot of people pulling him off defense and putting him onto offense. Well, the thing is, I think that that's probably the way forward, because you're right. You state that C Watt, everybody just C Watts it. Actually, I go C True Sith Empire Trooper. And you're right. The thing is that almost guarantees you're going to eat up their C with that. Otherwise, you're leaving C available for something else. But at the same time, C should pretty much always win, and with good banners. So it's, if you see that they have a C and you put your Malgus on D, you're almost guaranteeing you give them a win. If you put it off, it's a bit more of a gamble for both sides, I suppose. Which one is it? It's the Legacy. Yeah, that is, I think, a must. If all allies were Sith at the start of the battle, instead, the first time each Doubt is dispelled on an enemy. All other enemies who didn't have are inflicted with doubt for 2 turns. That I think is a must. If you're going to gear up Malgus, put that one on him. Of the 3, I do believe that's the most vital. Doubt is one of the most powerful debuffs in the game. Use it. Use it. Use it. Only 2 more questions left. Autumn asked me, how do I mod Jawas? Well, you make a good point, Autumn, that Jawas don't recover protection. Now, when you get the Jawacron or in some Galactic Challenge events, there were some modifications or other special bonuses where they do, and for that purpose, protection is better. Generally speaking, though, I still mod most of my Jawas with protection, even though you're right, they cannot recover it. The reason is because Jawas simply don't survive long enough or take enough turns to heal anyway. Healing kind of isn't necessary. All you need them to do is you need Scavenger to take a turn, Basic go into Stealth, then you need all your Jawas to absorb hits, and I think most of them have a higher protection net gain from protection mods than health gains, right? 16 versus 24% when you 6-dot them. So you get more net gain of protection than you would health, which means you survive a bit longer. Then you need Scavenger to take another turn to blow up everybody's detonators and win, or just keep taking hits long enough for the thermal detonators to expire on their own and the enemy teams to kill them. Now, with that said, I also would recommend crit avoidance mods on Nebit and on Jawa, and on, I can't remember the other one, Dacha. So, like, Scavenger, you want him to have some speed, because you need him to go into Stealth. And then Jawa Engineer is a healer. You're not going to get many opportunities to use him, but I would also suggest some speed there. The rest, I'd put a crit avoidance arrow on him. Absolutely. Okay, final question, and it's not a question, it's a thank you for my content. I am humbled, and honestly, thank you for watching, really. I don't make a lot of videos because this is not a job for me. It's just something I enjoy doing. I am a teacher and I enjoy helping and I enjoy engaging with the community somewhat. And I like collabing with other content creators. So really, thank you for watching and supporting me, because your likes, your subs, your engagement is what motivates me to stay engaged. So thank you. Thank you. All right, folks, this is it for today. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you had a laugh. I hope you liked and subscribed. Regardless, I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.